Hi, several of you have asked me if I would show you how I make my parrot food. So today's the day that I make it, and I thought that I would just go ahead and show you guys what I do. So what I'll start out with is just, my guys love this tri-colored rotini, and the reason I picked this one out, it has less sugar, even in the ones that are supposed to be better for you. They like this, it works. And what happens in these little bitty, in the little curves, the good stuff gets in there, and they accidentally, I've seen them eating it, so I get so excited when that happens. So that's why I always use something. I don't use any type of straight pasta. I use something with a fun shape. The shells, they also like the shells, but they really prefer when I cook this, I cook it very al dente, because as I add to it, it's going to continue to get, more cooked, and I don't want it to get too mushy. And do not add any salt or anything in your water when you cook this. And I'm going to have some background noise. Hope you don't mind. Okay, I use the yellow and the orange and the red peppers, and jalapenos if I have them. Any type of pepper like that they love. With these, I cut the tops off only because they don't chop well in my little chopper that I have, and so I just get rid of these, and then I use them in my veggie broth. But I just rinse these off real good and just chop them up. Okay, so I'm gonna put the camera down to my cutting board and just basically show you what I do and everything I chop up, and you can kind of do it along with me. Okay, I'm through chopping, and this has a measure on it just for, I don't measure things, but just to give you all an idea, this is 2 cups worth of chopped vegetables. Sorry, I had to plug my camera in. Okay, that's 2 cups of the chopped peppers. Okay, I've drained my pasta, and I'm going to add these veggies in and give them a stir because this pasta is still warm, and I'm gonna go get the rest of my veggies ready. My guys love peas and carrots, so I use 2 bags of these. It just depends on how much you want to make. I use 2 bags. All I'm gonna do is put them in a colander and run hot water over it because these have been in the freezer, and then I'm gonna put it in my pasta mix. Just easier this way. Sometimes I use fresh carrots, and I still might. I probably will put some fresh carrots in here, but I just open these up and put them in a colander. Okay, that's 2 bags, and I'm just gonna put hot water on these for just a few minutes and let them thaw that way. If I think about it and take it out in time, I can let them thaw at room temperature, but I need to get this done, so I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. Okay, that literally took less than 30 seconds to do that, so I'm just letting the water drain off, and then I'll put them in my pasta. Okay, I've got my pot on low, and I'm just going to let this kind of simmer together. I'm not really cooking it as far as getting it really soft. I just want to get it warmed up really good because I'm going to add some other things in it, and I want it to all incorporate together. The reason that I cook everything together, I found that the birds will eat it better than if I just leave it like this and don't cook it well, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some well, I'm gonna add some other things in here, but I'm gonna add some spinach or some kale, either one. The birds like either one. They tolerate either one. They'll eat either one. We'll put it that way. But I have to sneak it in there. So what I do is get this warm, and then I add a few other things in there and kind of hide that green stuff, if you know what I mean. They love the peas, but as far as a green leafy vegetable, ain't happening. I gotta hide it. Okay, the another thing is I put the coconut oil. I try to get organic, virgin, the least processed the better, coconut oil in with my mixture. And it's I would say that's a couple of tablespoons. You can't really tell, I know, on the video, but it's a couple of tablespoons, and my guys really do like that. They like the coconut oil, and just makes things incorporate really nicely, especially when you're warming it up. I'll also add a couple of cups of shredded coconut, unsweetened, just natural coconut. I think I have a package of it. Let me show you what I get. This is what I like to use. I like to use the unsweetened shredded coconut, 100% organic. Okay, here it is so far. I haven't added anything other than my peas and carrots, peppers, and coconut. And this is ground turmeric. Use about, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon. Just depends on how much you're making. My guys happen to love this stuff, so I read it was good for them, so I've been adding it into their meal ever since, and they seem to be taking it quite well. Okay, so this is a sneaky part. This is spinach, and if I just put spinach in my bird's bowl, they would look at me and laugh. So this doesn't work very well on a chopper, otherwise I'd be chopping it. So what I do is I hand chop mine. I guess you could put it in the food processor, but I'm trying to get them used to eating, getting used to the texture and all, and I really don't want it made into a paste. I want it to have a little bit of texture, so that's why I just do mine by hand. If I had a real, and they do eat it, if I had a really picky bird that I was trying to get this in, I'll probably put it in the food processor. But by the time I chop this and then put it in with the other mixture, it's going to be cooked pretty much, or wilted enough to where they'll accept it a lot better. So this is what I'm doing now. So I'm going to get some of this chopped up, and then we'll go from there. I use about, I would say after chopping it finely, it comes out to about a cup. But I hate to really give you measurements. I'm just showing you what I'm putting in the whole concoction. And then because I've got 7 birds, you might just have 1, you might have 2, so you kind of have to work with the amount that you need. You don't want to make too much. You don't want to give your birds any kind of food or any food that you wouldn't eat yourself. So if something's kind of going bad in the refrigerator, that's not the thing you want to give your birds. You want to give your guys fresh vegetables just like you would feed yourself. You don't want to, they're your babies. You want to treat them just as good as you treat your own self. I think I'm going to add a little bit more than a cup into mine, just simply because it's cooking down pretty low. It just depends on how much I have. I've got quite a bit of this, and it's nice and fresh. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put maybe 2 cups in there. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to put in is the corn. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to rinse this off in the colander just to get it, it's frozen, just to thaw it out, and then I'm going to dump it in the bowl. Now I only use 1 bag of the corn. If I use 2 bags of peas and carrots, I use 1 bag of corn. Now, a lot of times I'll use mixed vegetables, but I just didn't have that. We had peas and carrots, and mine actually prefer the peas and carrots the most. But I always add the corn in too. But I'd never put as much corn in the bowl as I do the peas and carrots. And I put the corn in the pot, and I started thinking about it. Why do I not put as much corn in? It dawned on me. I buy frozen corn on the cob and thaw it out and then cut it into little tiny pieces, and I give those as treats to the birds too because they love it. And I think corn probably has a lot of sugars in it. My guys just really go for the corn, and I want them to go for the veggies. So, you know, the green stuff. So I don't give them as much corn as I do everything else. So all I'm doing right now is just stirring it up real good to get everything incorporated. That's about it. I'm just gonna let this get warmed up to where they get all the little pieces of spinach. I want this to be kind of hidden. So I'm just letting it heat up and letting that spinach wilt a little bit, and then I'll put them in containers and freeze them. It's been sitting and simmering, I guess you would call it, warming up for about 20 minutes. And it's good and warm, and everything's just, it tastes really good. I've already tasted it. It tastes good. I have some pumpkin left over from the holidays, and I thought I would go ahead and add this in. They love pumpkin. So I thought I would go ahead and add this pumpkin into the mixture, and then I'm going to ladle it up into small bowls and freeze it. So as you can see, this is my base. Usually this is what I start out with, and then I might add some dried cranberries, or like I'm going to now, I'm going to add some pumpkin that I had left over. Just anything to change it up a little bit, especially for them, because they get tired of the same thing just like we would. Now I will say that I do feed the birds a pelleted diet. I buy a good quality pellet for them, and that's what they get in the evenings. And in the morning, they have breakfast. They might have eggs, oatmeal, whatever we're having, they have a little bit of it. And then around noon, 2-ish, I'll give them this mixture along with some fruit maybe, or some more veggies, you know, some fresh veggies if I have them in the fridge. Just anything to keep things interesting for them, because I want them to get a diet full of different fruits and vegetables, and of course their pellets. To me, I'm a pellet person. I like to give I feel like they get more nutrition through the pellets, especially ours. We have one that's very underweight, and the vet wants him to have as much pellet as possible because it has more, it's a certain diet for him. But so we do use the pellets a lot. But anyway, I'm gonna add this pumpkin in, and then I'm going to put this in the freezer. Now, I didn't think about it, but this is not a pumpkin pie filling. This is organic pumpkin. It's not the pumpkin pie. It has no sugar or anything. This is just pumpkin. So don't confuse it with the pumpkin pie, or you might have some birds on a sugar high. This is just pure organic pumpkin. Okay, I got them all packaged up. Just put bird food on them. I bought these at the Dollar Tree. They're perfect. They're little, I think these are pint size. And it made 8 of them, but one of them I'm leaving out for bird food for now. So that's all there is to it. Well, that was interesting. I've never actually tried to video me making bird food, so I hope it all turns out. Thank you for watching, and like I said, if y'all have any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. Thank you. Does Lefty like it? Does Lefty like it? Yum, yum. Yum, yum. You tell us yum, yum. Yum, yum, Lefty.